morning. If you've been watching on my Patreon, my first honey candy ginger experiment, it didn't work out. And I finally got my response written back from CommonWealth Herbs. My first thought is that you should cut the amount of ginger in half and try that. The reason is that the honey pulls the moisture from the ginger, so the more ginger, the more moisture. Makes sense? Basically, honey will maintain its antimicrobial qualities to a certain moisture level, but once it gets too high, it starts to ferment, which is what happened here. In the future, put the lid on, but keep it loose enough that air can escape, just in case. So that's one thing. Last time I put as much ginger as I could because I wanted a lot of ginger to be candied, and then I did it airtight. So I think it got too watery and the fermentation process started. And it also, as I recorded before in the last videos, it started to hiss and it was making like, it punctured, it was a mason jar and it started to puncture open the lid and it was hissing. So he says, we don't want an explosion of honey everywhere. Yeah, we really don't. The fizzy honey water is fine to consume. You can actually use it to make more ferments. People call it gingerbug. And that is the first step to making ginger ale and fizzy ginger drinks like that. Okay, so let's try this again. Less ginger, more honey, and leave the lid not as tight. So I live in East Van and Donald's Market has some sick deals sometimes. And this whole thing was $4 and it's organic, like good quality organic ginger. So I'm almost finished writing my ginger monograph, and a monograph is a herbalist's summary of everything they know about a plant. And there's a lot of variation because there's a lot of variation in plants and how people know them. It's a little bit like how you have a friend and you have a certain experience and someone else has a different experience. They're both legit experiences, it's just that that friend has a lot of qualities. That's similar to plants. That's a metaphor that Katya uses. And it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, monographs have a lot of variation. They normally, from what I know, they summarize the medicinal qualities and applications and how you've worked with them. So it's like the medicinal qualities, but then also anecdotal qualities of how you've worked with them, different things that you've tried. You can read and compare different herbalist monographs and see in what ways they agree, in what ways they don't agree. Again, I'm peeling with a spoon because it's easy. You don't have to pay as much attention. It works just as well. There's no risk in cutting yourself. One of the things that I write about on my monograph is ginger and nausea, because when I was having a lot of health problems, I was consuming a lot of ginger. And I didn't have like the best, well, I was using gravel ginger chews, which I mean, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but I could make my own candied honey ginger and it would be a lot less packaging, a lot more sustainable, and also just like, I could just make it myself, you know? Because it can like end up getting fairly pricey when you're having like 3 or 4 of those small ginger chews. Because I was really nauseous, I would get sick for 3 to 5 hours, like it was like 6 to 8 months of that, like 8 months of that. I don't think it's as awesome as like homemade ginger honey syrup, but the ginger chews still really helped me out. So that's like a personal experience with ginger, because it's good with tons of different types of nausea, as I've learned. Yeah, aids with nausea, including those induced by food poisoning, medications, morning sickness, and motion sickness. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely used it for motion sickness, and with like my health problems that were going on, it was really necessary to function. All of the ginger I would have in the morning. Zingiber officinale is its Latin name. Zingiber. Zingiber? One of the things that I remember most about this chapter is that fresh versus dried has different actions, which I thought it would be the same, but no. Fresh ginger is diffusive, moving blood and warmth towards the surface, where dry ginger is centrally warming, heating the digestive and reproductive systems. So I guess maybe if you had arthritis, then fresh ginger would be better, because then it's increasing blood flow to the surface and it could help make some movement there, like if you're trying to get the anti-inflammatory effects of that. But then if, let's say, you have a really sluggish period and you want some ginger, or you have like a stomach ache, like something that's more central, then you would want to go with dry ginger. In our course, we want you to list the medical qualities and the applications, and then put some anecdotal evidence. And if you like, you can kind of elaborate on whatever angle you're taking. Like, let's say you study a lot of mythology and there's some traditional uses of a plant, you can go into like folklore and like folk medicine ideas, symbolism, art, like just different ways that people interpret and build relationships with plants, because this course really focuses on building relationships through experience. That's why it's based on you doing your own experiments. And I mean, there is written work and tests, but it's much more experiential. And I think art has a lot of value in helping you kind of process something that's experiential like that. I'm actually working on a few ginger themed paintings at the moment. I have one. I don't want to fuck up my makeup. No. Oh, spicy. Spicy eye. Yeah. Okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna chop them into small pieces. Last time I feel like I cut my ginger pieces maybe too large, because they weren't candied at all. I mentioned this in the other video, but honey itself is antimicrobial and it lasts forever. It does not go bad. It actually just preserves the things that you put into it. And it does that because it's hydrophilic, and that's a fancy word for meaning it loves water, and it will just like basically mummify anything in the honey. So bacteria, anything that's going to try to create a home in your honey, it's just going to be killed because the honey will suck it dry. So that's what we want to happen to our ginger here. We want the honey to suck up all of the liquid in the ginger, and the ginger to become candied. You see? Oh yeah, you can. What a beautiful color. It's just so gold, like the yellow ginger and the gold honey. Last time I put the ginger in first and then the honey on top, and it was hard to get the ginger to kind of like, so then there was no bubbles, you know? It was hard to get the ginger completely through the honey, so this time I did it the opposite way. Still not that simple. There's a lot of honey beneath the ginger. Oh, and this will need to set for 3 to 4 weeks. My original one that didn't work out, I left that one for 5 weeks because I was busy and I didn't get to it. This one, I'm gonna check how it is at 3 weeks, because then it might be ready for Christmas, but I feel like I did start this too late. last time it was like all this ginger and a little bit of honey on top. And now it's like I can't get the ginger down because there's so much honey. Okay, that's a little better. It's like, no, I can do better. I just push it down. Maybe if I put a little bit of honey and then ginger, then honey and ginger, like layered it up, that would probably be easier. But it'll move around. As ginger starts to release its liquid, I'm sure that it'll get more fluid and move around. Just want to make sure it's all at least covered on here, but lightly. Unlike last time, where I made a little ginger honey bomb. See you in a week or 3. See how it goes.